Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Phi and this is Money Philosophy. Today we will continue our technical analysis on Tesla and then we will touch on very briefly Amazon and Shopify. I might do another video later today to touch on a few other stocks that have been requested, but for now let's take a look at charts and see what's in store for Tesla tomorrow. Tesla closed the day today at $743, up almost 1% today, considering that it went down significantly this morning. So let's dive into chart and see what has caused this. Even though I'm passionate about technical and fundamental analyses, I am not a financial advisor or a stock guru, so please do your own research and use my video for entertainment purpose only. Here's the daily chart for Tesla. Right at the outset, you can see that this is a bullish hammer, which signal reversal. So this morning, Tesla went down all the way to about 709 and then immediately reversed. 709 happens to be the consolidation area that it had in the last few weeks, which is right here. So this is interesting because it tells me that there are a lot of buyers just waiting to buy Tesla and waiting for the dip to buy. Most likely these are institutional investors. The volume today was 131%. Tesla did a complete U-turn on a relatively high volume day today, so I do think that the bull run might be resuming. Let's take a look at the 4-hour chart. As you can see here, the second 4-hour of the day was a complete reversal of the first 4-hour of the day, which is really good news. This is in a way a bullish engulfing candle as well. The buy volume is pretty dramatic. Even when Tesla was going down, the buy volume was high, and this buy volume created the inverse hammer here. But combine these two candles, the daily chart looks really good. Let's move on to the hourly chart. You can see that Tesla observed the pivot lines here really well. In the morning, it went down and then crossed through the pivot line here and then reversed, ended the hourly chart right around the pivot line and then start moving back up to the previous pivot line. Considering that Tesla is at 743 at the end of the day and made a complete U-turn, I would say that Tesla should be bullish tomorrow and potentially for the rest of the week. The trading range for tomorrow is on the upper end at 755. Mid pivot point is 732 and the bottom pivot point is 696, which is still above the strong support of 690, where the 200 days SMA and the 50 days SMA still hovering around right now. Given the price action today, I think Tesla is more likely than not to be going bullish tomorrow. So it probably could gap down a little bit, close the gap and go all the way up, or gap up and never looked back. Tesla does have the tendency to fill the gap. So any gap created could be an opportunity for a gap trade. But I do think that if Tesla gaps down, the opportunity is ginormous, not only to close the gap, but also for the bullish run. The price target that I can see here is between 735, 746, 755, which is the pivot point here, then 768 for tomorrow. I don't know if it could reach anything above that, but 793 is my next resistance point. If Tesla continue with the momentum and volume, it could potentially reach 793. So this is interesting. You look at the buy volume today compared to Friday. The buy volume today is definitely important to note and definitely above average, which is this yellow line right here. Once again, here's the daily chart with this buy volume. This kind of remind me of end of July buy volume here, which created a major bullish run back then. even in August, we had a few good buy volume day, but the volume was just average. Today, though, however, the buy volume is huge, but the overall volume is also above average, which is really good. The RSI is nowhere near overbought, so I do think that Tesla has room to run. I've never seen Tesla has a hammer with the long wick like this before, so this is very encouraging. It tells me that somebody out there, could be several of those buyers out there buying a ton of Tesla shares, and I think that going into Q3 delivery, if we have any positive news as well as good delivery result, this could be a candle that signal a bullish run. So if Tesla were to end the day at the low point of today and created a long bearish candle, then I would say that it would definitely touch 690 or so in the next few days. But because of this complete reversal, I do think that Tesla has made a U-turn, and the odds now favor a bullish price action more than bearish price action. Here's the weekly chart. Remember that over the weekend, I updated you guys that the weekly candle as of last week was fairly bearish. It was a failed rocket launch. Today is only Monday, so this can't be a weekly candle just yet, but this seems very interesting how it has a complete opposite of this candle over here. If you're looking at the entire month of September, both of these candles combined, it seems to be a consolidation candle, which is a long wick to the upside and a long wick to the downside. So for tomorrow, I'd like to see Tesla return back to the 735 area here before spiking back up. And I would expect Tesla to move between these two pivot points here from 732 to 755. If it goes to 755, that would be a good resistance for the day. But for some reason, if Tesla spiked through 755 here, I think 768 would be in order. And if Tesla ends the day around 768 with high volume, over 100% of volume, then I think the next day or shortly after that, it could get to 793 and potentially 824. Let's also plan for the downside just in case, even though the bullish hammer seems to signal a bullish run, it's always important to plan for both sides. You can see that there are a few strong support lines that I have here. Let's say if Tesla somehow started the day very high and then faded and lost all momentum and moving down, then you can expect 704 is one of the support, then 696, 690, and then 641. I mentioned in my last video that if Tesla returns to the high 600s, I would potentially enter a leap call option. Even though today Tesla did not get anywhere near $700, I definitely were eyeing it to go down further, but unfortunately it didn't. So for all intents and purposes, tomorrow I see more upside than downside. If we have a gap down in the morning, say it opened at 738, 740, I think that's a decent point for a call option. If it does gap up, I would wait a little bit to see if it filled the gap, and I would potentially take a call as well. But be very careful with Tesla. When Tesla has the tendency of a very fast reversal, so it could also inflate in the morning and start reversing. So I would take profit, especially if you are day traders. I would take profit at some of the resistance point here, so that I don't get caught in reversal. Once again, those resistance point would be 755, 768, 793. If Tesla hovering in between these two pivot lines here is in consolidation, and it could potentially go back up after. Let's move on to Shopify. Shopify also had a very long wick today on the daily candle. It somewhat reversed the current daily trend, but it is still overall in the head and shoulder pattern. So I'm not quick to say that Shopify has reversed to the bullish, but the price action today is definitely interesting and encouraging. The volume is 111%. Once again, Shopify, just like Tesla, did a complete U-turn with over 100% volume. So I do think that there's a lot of bullish momentum in the stock, just like Tesla. Let's take a look at the hourly chart. So on the hourly, you can see that the first hour Shopify rocked through all bottoms, all support possible, and start bouncing. It never really made it back to the price when it closed on Friday, but it has certainly made it way back all the way from the bottom of the day. You can see that RSI hit the oversold point down here and start reversing back up. For tomorrow, the trading range is from 1504. Middle pivot point is 1468 and the bottom pivot point is 1405. The reason that we still have 1405, which is quite a bit from 1476 where Shopify closed at, is that this pivot calculation took into account the price action from the last 2 days as well as the speed of such movement. So it projected out that Shopify could reach this bottom. For now, I'm taking 1 day at a time with Shopify. I think that if Shopify were to gap up in the morning, then it would have an opportunity for us to take a put option down to the middle pivot point here and potentially 1450. But I would not hold my put option all the way until 1405. I think this is a little extreme. But of course, if the market condition is bearish in the morning, then it is possible. For right now, I think I will stick with the top half of the trading range for Shopify, and I would be waiting for a gap up in order to play a put option. Amazon did have a little bit of a swing to both sides today. It started the day really strong, and then in the middle of the day, it moved down pretty fast and ended the day at right around 50 days SMA, which is around 34.57. It's important to note that Amazon dipped below 50 days SMA, which is this white line here, and is also signified by the white dotted line here. It dipped below that 50 days SMA to 34.36 today. I did not catch it when it got there. I was in the middle of several different meetings, so I did not catch that, but I did mention in my video over the weekend that if Amazon were to fall below 50 days SMA and get to about 34.30 range, I would take a call. I think that opportunity was right around here, which was slightly before market closed. That did not happen for me, but I'm still keeping an eye on Amazon. On the daily candle, however, it does not look to be completely bullish. It's actually very bearish, and I expect another day maybe to the downside before reversing. So I would be watching very closely for Amazon to fall back down below 34.60 and hold that level for maybe half an hour, and then I will start entering call option. Ideally, I'd like to see it fall back to 34.40, 34.30, and then I would take a call option to go back up. Looking at the trading range for tomorrow, we're seeing 34.90 on the upper end, 34.64 in the middle pivot point, which is right around 50 days SMA, and then we see 34.04. Now, tomorrow, if for some reason Amazon get to 34.04, I think that's a very optimal point and relatively safe point to enter a call option. Remember the daily bull flag that I still see here. And if Amazon were to retrace back to about 3,400, give or take right here, that is still within the bull flag, and it is at the bottom end of the bull flag on the daily. So I would take a call for it to close the gap at 3,600. That's my interpretation of Amazon. I think Amazon is still relatively bullish in the grand scheme of things, although the last 3 days have been bearish. So that is it for the video. I hope you enjoyed this quick and easy, simple video where I go through 3 of my favorite stocks to trade. I'll try to return in the afternoon and do another video for some other stocks that you guys have been requesting. So stay tuned for that. But until the next video, thank you very much for all your support.